Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, I was always told I had a voice for radio, so today I'm going to bring you a quick little video about a new Arcanine card. Now, of course, he's one of the original 151, he's kind of cool, people like him, so let's have a gander. Now, he is a Stage 1 Pokemon, as Arcanine tends to be. So, not the fastest, not the slowest. He is a fire Pokemon, and that's pretty good. We have Volcanion nowadays, and of course Volcanion allows you to accelerate energy onto your benched, Pokemon like Arcanine, so that's quite good. That is an advantage. Not only that, of course, but we've seen a couple of the really good GXs coming out. We've got Lurantis and we've got Decidueye. Both of them are grass and hence are weak to fire. So being fire type could be a rather large advantage moving forward. So he's got a few things going for him before we even start. 130 HP is about standard for... Well, it's actually quite high for a Stage 1, actually. It's a bit of a power creep going on, 130 HP. Think Stage 2's like Greninja or Garchomp nowadays. Now, in terms of his attack, fire and a double colourless, 60 damage plus burn. Now, I told you that the burn rulings have changed recently. It looks like burn is coming back. Now, the new rules, for anyone that missed it, instead of you remain burned for as long as you're in the active, flip a coin between turns, take 20 damage if it's tails, it's now take 20 damage between turns, but then after taking the damage, you flip a coin. If heads, you're no longer burned. I.e., you get a guaranteed 20 damage, as opposed to that annoying opponent who always flips heads and never takes burn damage. So fire double colourless, 60 plus burn. I mean, it's basically 80, unless they've got a way to get around the burn so they can't be burned. Think something like a Magearna out, which will stop the burn happening. It's fine. It's not great. The double colourless helps. And, like I've said, being a fire Pokemon, having Volcanion is a bonus. Free fire and a colourless, 190 damage, discard free fire energy. This is the kind of attack that pre-Sun and Moon would have been 150. And this goes back to Pokemon wanting to always let us do a little bit less than we need to. Now, 190 will KO GXs like, for instance, Snorlax, the basics, but get up to your Stage 1, Stage 2s, it won't quite be enough. Unless, of course, they are weak to fire, like a couple of them are. And let's not forget that being fire, it's not just grass Pokemon, you hit most metal Pokemon for weakness as well. Things like Sizor that's seeing a little bit of play lately. Now, the good news with this is that we have burning energy, and burning energy means that you don't actually discard it when you would, but then you can't use burning energy with Volcanion to attach to your benched Arcanine. So, swings and roundabouts, quite frankly. Now, both of these attacks are a little bit overpriced. I admit that, I'm fine with that. They are expensive attacks. But you know what? This does a fair amount of damage. If you can get this energy onto Arcanine, 190 damage, flat out, straight as an attack, is pretty good. There are not many attacks that do 190 damage straight up. Now, maybe there are other Pokemon in the Sun and Moon expansion that will. We don't know. But 190 damage is pretty gosh darn good. And like I say, when you can KO things like Snorlax GX, taking 2 prizes and only giving up 1, that's pretty tasty, quite frankly. Now, I don't think this is going to be a deck on its own. I think it's too expensive to be a deck. But we've seen that Volcanion is pretty good as a starter Pokemon, and I've told you that I quite like Incineroar, link to that video in the description, so maybe you could have a 1-1 Arcanine line in these decks. With Incineroar, you're generally going to be trying to attack for a single energy attachment. So maybe you attach with Incineroar while building up an Arcanine on your bench. In the same way that the Metal Cobalion works as a nice non-EX attacker to come in and take the last couple of prizes in a metal deck, maybe this Arcanine could be a nice non-EX attacker where you tech in a 1-1 line and he takes the last couple prizes in a fire deck. 190 is enough to KO any EX at the end of the day, other than Wailord, but Wailord is special. So being able to take out an EX at some point during the game, and maybe even a GX, It's expensive. I've said it a couple times, I'll say it again. It's an expensive attack, but you know what? If I have chance to build up this Pokemon on the bench, and then at some point during the game he gets me a cheeky 2 prizes to finish out the game, I like him. I think his attacks are too expensive to be a deck on his own, but as a 1/1 tech in a fire deck, where you attach energy to him when you can afford to, and then swing for those last couple prizes of the game, if nothing else, Arcanine's second attack does enough damage that we should at least take him seriously as a tech, if nothing else. Now, you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe, comment. It's YouTube. You know how this works. Look after yourselves until next time. Click that thumbnail that just appeared. And, of course, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you have been watching PTCG Radio.